Manuel, Henrique, great to be here with you today. This is episode 2 of the Touchdown video series, and today we're going to be talking about visas and migration to Portugal.
My name is Henrique. I'm a legal consultant and the head of immigration at Touchdown. I oversee everything that's related to visas, residency permits, other smaller legal aspects, and also life after you land in Portugal, so all the practical aspects of it.
My name is Manuel. I'm a tax lawyer in Portugal. I work exclusively with expats, try to make the best tax planning before they come to Portugal, and then to help them comply with all of their tax obligations once they are already in Portugal. And I overview taxation at Touchdown.
Henrique, I would love it if you could talk a little bit about what it takes to qualify for a residency in Portugal.
The best approach would be to cover the three main ones, which would be the D7 visa, which is for passive income, the D8, which is for digital nomads, and the thirdly is the Golden Visa. So maybe I should start with the D7 visa, quite possibly the most popular one. In order to qualify, it's quite simple. So you just need to earn at least 870 euros, which is a minimum Portuguese wage, as passive income. This could be pensions, could be rents, could be dividends, royalties, you name it.
Can you talk a little bit about the types of persona or the types of customers that you see most of the time applying for this visa?
Yeah, it's quite of a different plethora of clients. Of course, we have the retired people. And I still have lots of clients that are younger, that they have sources of income, they want to live a more chiller life. And they are just enjoying the fact that they make some passive income and want to enjoy Portugal.
300 days of sunshine, fantastic world-class beaches, and some of the best tax benefits that you can find in the developed world. You mentioned the D8 digital nomad visa or remote worker visa. Could you tell us a little bit more about this visa and who it's for, as well as any qualification requirements you might have?
Yeah, so digital nomad visa is, as the name says, aimed to digital nomads. So the minimum threshold to qualify is that you make 3,480 euros as remote work. This could be from self-employment, could be just for a traditional employment relationship, or from your own business.
Henrique, you mentioned the Golden Visa program. How does the Golden Visa work? Who is it for, and what are the requirements?
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions. The main thing that is different from the previous years is that real estate investment doesn't qualify for it anymore. I think the smartest solution is to invest in a Portuguese fund, which is you need to invest 500k euros. And there are 7 different sorts of investment funds that can cover different risk appetites. So we have almost guaranteed income returns, which basically are just there to get you the Golden Visa. And there are more stable ones that give you a decent return, around 5%, that are still quite safe. And if you want to risk it all, you can even go for venture capital.
Portuguese venture capital investments.
Yes, invest in startups and stuff like that.
I think it'd be worth just clarifying the difference between the Golden Visa and then the 2 visas we spoke about earlier, the D7 passive income visa and the D8 nomad visa.
D7 and D8 make you stay in Portugal for a longer period of time. So the rule is that on the 24-month period of your first residency permit, you can stay out of the country for more than 8 months or 6 consecutive months. So it could be quite limiting, especially for people that are highly mobile. As with the Golden Visa, you just need to spend 7 days on your first year in Portugal and 14 days on your subsequent years. So it's a huge difference. So the advantage of Golden Visa, the main one, is that you get all the benefits from being a Portuguese resident, for example, free travel around Schengen area without the need to stay in Portugal for a long time.
I think it would be great if we can touch on generally how long do these applications take and what are the key requirements?
As you know, there's been a huge backlog in applications, but the good news is that things are getting way better. So the processing times are faster now. I would say that for a traditional visa, the D7 or D8, it will depend, of course, on the country where you apply for, but we can use our main client base, which is the US and UK, as a reference point. And I would say that the reasonable amount is around 4 months from the period that you decide to gather your own documents in the country from the moment that your visa is issued.
What are the requirements for obtaining these visas, particularly the D7 and the D8, beyond just satisfying the income requirements?
Yeah, I can tell you about the 3 main ones, which will be to have a NIF, which is a tax ID number. You should also have a Portuguese bank account with a Portuguese IBAN, and also accommodation. You should have accommodation through a lease agreement or owning property.
Henrique, we spoke about the D7 passive income visa and the D8 digital nomad visa. I think it's worth, at a very high level, covering the steps involved in applying for those visas?
The first step is actually to get the documents. So either on our side and the client side, what we can do is to get the NIF, open a bank account remotely for the clients, and then the client needs to start looking for documents on their country. So everyone needs a certificate of no criminal record, and if they are bringing family, they also need to get marriage certificates or birth certificates for kids that are bringing. During this period, we can already start getting accommodation, and then we get the visa appointment. After you get the appointment, you show up to the embassy with all the documents that we prepared previously that were completely reviewed, and we make sure that they are super accurate, so there's no chance of failing with the embassy. And after that, you'll get your visa that's worth for 4 months. That will grant you 2 entries in the country, so you can come to Portugal. Let's say that you need to take care of some stuff, and then you need to go back to, let's say, the US, and then you can come back again. And during this period, you'll get an IMA appointment. IMA is the immigration agency in the country. They take your biometrics, and then after that, you'll get your residency card issued.
As you mentioned, from the point in which you get the IMA appointment, your clock for residency starts ticking.
Exactly, yes. From the moment that you do the application for the residency permit. Semyon, why do you think we focus so much on the visa part of our service?
Yeah, for Touchdown, the visa component of relocation is so important because we want you to have a very good experience from the moment you set foot into the country. And I think that part of the journey was incredibly tough for me. It was filled with ambiguity, and it was just a high stress process. And so for us, it's very important to make sure from the beginning, when you apply for your visa, you know that you're in good hands, you have full visibility and control of the process, and you know what to expect. And that comes from giving you clarity up front using technology like the Touchdown Advisor. And it also comes from having really, really good client communication through a nice centralized platform. Another thing I find fascinating is at Touchdown, we ran a survey of entrepreneurs and business owners in the UK. One of the main drivers of concern or anxiety for those folks who are leaving the UK is local governance. 48% of the audience that we surveyed, the biggest concern was local governance and rules. The second biggest concern, I think it was just over 40%, was actually visa applications. There's a lot of ambiguity around applying for a visa. Which visa is right for me? How long is it going to take? How do I book these appointments? What is accommodation? How do I get this accommodation? And I think if we can make that process as simple as possible with technology, then we're in a very good place to give people a fantastic customer experience.